So I'm kicking it off. So my name is Tomatis Likurinos. Everybody calls me Stam, right? Simple and nice. I'm a consulting engineer with Palo Alto Networks. My background is in incident response, red teaming. I'm more focused on systems. Lately, I've been focusing on EDR bypass. I don't know, I'm stuck with that. So I came here just a little bit outside of the cloud security that you're doing, just a glance on the threats that I see. I work very closely with Unit 42, but it's not about me, it's about what we see out there and how you can protect yourselves. And if I can give you some information of some things that you don't know, that is my goal. I heard some really good things about policies. I always come in the sessions. I really like what I heard, which is very important, right? Doesn't matter. I'm not here to talk about products, right? I'm here next to talk about threats and things like that. Cool. While I was coming here, actually, just to share a little thought, 5, 6 years ago, it's a very good time that you mentioned that. I used to be an incident responder for a Google Cloud, very big company. I used to be an incident responder. The products were not that good back then. So we decided to take logs in our what we call CM, right? That was a bad choice. I had to go in every GCP, if you want to be detailed, right? So I went to every event. I didn't learn them all, I'll be honest with you, right? But it's difficult, right? And I heard a lot of things about that. So it is very difficult, and we used to correlate things, right? So who opened that key? Who is that account? Do they have the right permissions, right? You get somebody to the simple things, provisioning an application, and there's no correlation if they already have the network security to allow access from specific places, right? And you need to correlate all those things. So I did a lot of that in GCP. I'm not a cloud security professional or specialist, right? But I have dealt a lot with GCP in the past as an incident responder. Of course, if we see a key laying around on an operating system, we'll grab it and use that as a service account, right? And I'll give you a threat that we had followed. So let me start. Security has become difficult, right, for the modern enterprise. Wider attack surface, we all know that. Right? Larger and more complex security stacks. You have a lot of things, SaaS applications, right, in, out, infrastructure in the cloud. I believe it's very critical as well, and it will become, and it was, right? Lower barrier for entry to attackers. Attackers, right, that don't have that skill of your SolarWinds, right, to write that kind of malware. That's the lower barrier, right? If you want to have attackers like the SolarWinds attack, these are, you can call them nation state. I believe a lot of people, not a lot, but I believe you can write that kind of code if you dedicate time, hours, and money. But for others, it's lower barrier, right? If you're a cyber criminal, you can make money just by going to the dark web, buying some things, you know, a couple of things. And being a cyber criminal is, first step is to decide that you want to be outside of the law. It's not about being skilled, right, only, because you take that chance of being unlawful, right? So the first step is to accept that part, right? Being outside of the law. That's why the barrier is low. Increasing red team tools, yes, in a lot of attacks, they're used, right? And I'll go a little bit into what we see on the operating systems I told you and EDRs. Ever-evolving malware, right? You see new variants of malware. I'm very interested in malware, right? How it's written, what do they use to bypass defenses, endpoints, sandboxes, all of those things. It takes time, right? But as we grow, and I heard something really important before, oh, the threat actors are not that, yes, this is true. They don't know SaaS. They didn't know operating systems either, right? They didn't know to bypass EDRs. We didn't have ADRs, right? So as we grow in technology, our adversary will grow. That's their job, that's our job, right? Simple as that. And thank you for mentioning. We've seen 1,000% increase in attack list from Unit 42, IoT's blind, DNS, all those good things, right? Another day in the office for the ransomware groups. There is a site, I'm not affiliate, I know the guy, Ransomware Live, that collects information from the dark web, and you can go, right, and have a look what's going on without you having to browse to any Tor sites or anything. I'm not affiliate or anything, it's a free source, but just to give you an awareness, right? Because a lot of people don't know what's going on out there in the companies. This is from Unit 42 report, how many minutes it takes for an attacker, right? Not a lot. Right? And when they land, I have an example of Mandlet Libra, which is a very advanced threat actor that knows about SaaS. They go for that, right? They keep their persistence there, and Unit 42 has a big article on this. You can see like they're within 45 minutes, they have a C2 and they're going out, right? And once you land, you can start taking things. For example, I was writing a Python script and I have my keys and I work on a Mac and I put them on my keychain. And then I started reading and I saw, in Linux, if you do the key ring, it leaves a cache of your API key in a file. You can grab it. So I was looking at the cache in Mac OS, right, to see if my key is there. Because as I said, a key for an actor, they don't have to go to the cloud. If they find it in your operating system, it's another service account that they can use, right, to elevate their privileges and their access. Something I took from a customer environment is the zero trust, right? We're all about applications, right? And if you know your application, I come from an era where port 8 and port 443 were enough, right? But nowadays it's good to know your applications. It's good to know your SaaS applications, right? What you want, what you need. Oh, that's not all. Just wait for it. Right? WeChat file transfer, WhatsApp file transfer. Who of you have a WhatsApp group that you share information about your job with colleagues? I have WhatsApp groups. You can ask them. I never post. Right? You never know. Megabase, right? Things like that. You can like close those things. I don't disagree with a Facebook base. I really don't. But if you can control posts, uploads, and other things, then yes. But why not? Your users should go to the Facebook, have a personal life in their work. I am user-centric, right, when it comes to security. Top instant messaging apps, Telegram, Base. I have a personal opinion about Telegram, so I don't want to phrase it here. SSL, right? We have SSL in our networks. It's an easy way for security teams to go, yeah, I have my EDR. And what happens if they bypass your EDR? You know, security is about controls in every step of your defense. So just one little note. Email, top-ups, yes, but I wanted to stand here a little bit. We all know it. A lot of people don't think about it. I'll give you a very simple example. Yes, we're probably professionals here and we think a little bit outside of the box, but an employee gets an email from their boss or something important and they want to respond in a way that they showcase themselves. Why not, right? We work in a competitive environment, so they copy paste that email to ChatGPT or what you have to get an answer. Can you provide me what they just did? They just exfiltrated data, right? Just a very, very simple example with no malicious intentions whatsoever, right? It's just, we're just human. But if you know your applications, then you can reduce that attack surface of what you have and what you know. And when I'm talking about applications, this is another from Ransomware Live. You can go to that GitHub. That gentleman collects the tools. I don't know how true it is. I haven't searched that much, but I trust Ransomware Live a lot, and I've spoken personally with a person that manages it. So the tools here and something else. What happens in my endpoint if I install AnyDesk? Will it ring? No. Why it shouldn't? This is a good software for some companies. It's signed, there's a company behind it. So if I install AnyDesk or any of those tools, what my EDR will do? Nothing, right? It will just stay as is. Just think about that. There is a reason why they use those tools, right? To exfiltrate data. Modern phishing is highly invasive, right? It all starts from there. They steal tokens and so on and so forth. MFA is not your protection anymore. Just a tool. I used to use that. Like I see a lot of people now with Evil NGX. I used to use that tool like years ago. I really did when I was a red teamer, right? And I was always wondering how you can detect it on applications like Okta and other things where when you steal a token, right, you can replicate that access, as you all know, right, in this room. It's free. It has a pro version, good for team because it's a great tool and it's used very effectively, right, to hide your lures, but to also steal tokens, which is what gives you the access, right? And attackers, right, not always go for to land the malware. They can steal credentials. It's a very lucrative job, and it has a lower level to create it, right? So you create phishing, get credentials, go to dark web, sell them, as the speaker said, and then you have valid accounts coming in, right? It's a business. It's a circle, right? Just an example for the ones that don't know how it's a proxy, right? And the end user doesn't see doesn't see any changes. It will land to the page that they requested. Very, very effective. I really liked it. Always had the thought of how to defend on it. There are ways now to detect and to prevent this, right? If you get the right logs and you have the right visibility. I come from a NetSec. I like IPS. I write Suricata rules, yes, because I like malware. So it is foundational, right? We all need it. You have a CV or something else, right? And you need to have an IPS. But IPS is after the fact, right? We write a signature after we know a malware traffic or anything, right? So it's reactive. And we have signatures reactively because we want availability as well, right? SIA, don't forget that. Confidentiality, integrity, availability. So you don't write signatures that block business traffic. But they're not enough, right? We need something more. I just took that from Spamhaus. I like to bring things outside of Palo and Unit 42, just for the sake. So you can see last year, Cobalt Strike was used. Why they use that framework? It's pretty simple. Just you can Google about Cobalt Strike broken, and you can download one, and the actual source code was leaked in 2019. So adversaries will use whatever it's available to them, right? And again, just to correlate into sources very quickly, this is from the gentleman that collects tools from Russian groups. You can see what is favorite for a lot of the groups, right? So just to correlate a couple of things from Spamhaus and what we see, this is more recent. Spamhaus was last year's, right? Two different sources of intelligence, within quotes, please, just to showcase what's out there. The next generation, Bitratel, fantastic tool. You have to buy it, but it's really good for evading EDRs, and you can do a lot of things manually with that tool. If you have a red team in your organization, they probably have that, right? And it's the new generation of C2, and it's the new generation of EDR evasion. It's pretty good. The gentleman that has created it, now it's a company, used to work for Mandiant and CrowdStrike, right? Yeah. So I don't know him, and the tool is good, right? Simple as that. Muddled Libra. And please, this is for the advanced here. I urge you to read the report from Unit 42. I have just taken that. This is a really advanced persistent threat actor that it has, like you read in the report, and we have discussed it with Unit 42. Sometimes you go in, you think you've taken them out, and you haven't. And I heard from the speaker before, what is real persistence, right? Which means, oh, you get noticed. And when Unit 42 report writes you that, these are the guys that actually know about SaaS. This is one of the threat actors that actually uses, goes and tries and finds those service accounts to keep that persistence. Please, it's a very good read, Muddled Libra. It's called from our Unit 42. They update the report. This is really an advanced threat because I agree personally with the speaker. They don't, like you've seen a lot of threat actors that I come across, SaaS is not their first, and they don't know how to leverage that, right, to go there. But this is a threat actor, and because it's today's that actually does and use a lot of cloud to stay unhidden. Modern malware is rapidly increasing, right? I'm a sector 7 in Maldev. I don't want to, but there are some really cool things out there that you can learn malware development. And there are very big sources, right? In Google, you can search and learn. I wonder sometimes with threat actors, right, why they don't adopt those things. But again, if you think it's about time and money, right? They cannot always recreate because it takes time. And after it's caught, they need to recreate, go back to the board, right? Which is our job to make it more expensive. Just for the geekier ones here, this is also an article from Unit 42. Everything I've seen come with today, you can find in the internet. This is an API and hook instrumentation, right, for user land. So the EDRs hook with their own DLLs, and you can unhook. You can also do that. You can write a little software that does nothing, but you upload it in a sandbox, right? And it just learns what that sandbox is hooking and sending that out. Just a little idea I was thinking recently. Malware checking from VMware, right? They will check for things. This is the simplest. They can check about this morning I was reading user interaction needed, right? The malware will check if there is a user. Today I was reading in an article on sandbox evasion that they will look for amount of memory, CPU, right? We have seen malware that are advanced looking for temperature on the endpoint. When I saw that, I said, oh, this is very clever because our laptops, right, when we work, they're heating up. A VM, a sandbox is sitting there, just waiting for some piece of malware to come and run, right? It's a difference on that. So we saw that recently, and it was very interesting, actually. And I'm going to align a little bit with everybody. I'm going to close, keeping on my time, I think, right? Perfect. So this, I think, applies to everything, not only to infrastructure cloud, right? You need to know all users, your devices, right? You need to know your applications, right? If you have that visibility, then you can make the decisions. Even within the cloud, right? Communications, accesses. Is that application able to access the database and so on and so forth? It can be on the network, it can be on the code, it can be anywhere, right? But you need to know users, devices, applications. And I'll give you an example. Like, think about it like this, right? And that applies everywhere. In my company, I'm applied with my policies and my rules, my AAA, right? Based on who I am, not based where I am, right? If I'm here, home, I travel to a customer, my access is the same, right? I shouldn't be able to change that access, right? Based on my location or other things. That should remain the same, right? Across. Policies based on context, exactly. Any policies based on business needs, default deny, you know that. That applies to authentication, networking, endpoints. I know we don't live in a world that you can block everything, right? And I'm not that security person that goes, I like people to be productive, and people to be productive, you shouldn't stop how they think at the time they think about it, right? When they have an idea, they should be able to go and achieve it. Apply core security anywhere, scan and block real time, vulnerability exploits, right? All those good things, especially cloud. There's a lot of misconfigurations. Back in the days, it was more. Now we have been advanced, right? A lot. There were exploits. The exploit is on your application, right? The cloud is just your, if you think about it, your data center. Sometimes I think about it. When I was doing a little bit of AWS, if you have an application that is exploitable, right, in PHP or whatever code, not only APIs, right, the application itself, and you get access to that system, will give you access to other systems, right? If you don't have it configured correctly to what that system can speak within the cloud, right? So maybe you can go there and exploit it. Analyze, use data in context in access policies, prevent data movement to undesired locations. Very important, I believe. Optimize user experience, optimize operational unified management. And I said that because I, as an incident responder, and especially when I had cloud, we had like a couple of tools. I didn't like them. Back then, there weren't many. Like 5, 6 years ago, there weren't that many tools. Maybe 7 years ago, there weren't that many tools to help us. And we had like we had tools, and you see all enterprises have 32 tools, right? Average from what we have seen. And unification is good, right? I'll give you an example. Like we had logs from GCP, and I had to look at the 3 different places, right, to understand things. Who was that person? Why they had this access, and so on and so forth. There was no tool to tell me, oh, that's AGM, the identity access management called in GCP. I'm guessing everybody here knows that, right? And that was a little bit difficult because the amount was big. I was working in a company that had 20 plus thousand Linux servers, right? That they were acting as the application that we had. So there was a lot of APIs and a lot of things there. So I have 3 slides, right, for our something that we have created. And I kind of believe that, but I don't want to use the word AI because the other thing I love is mathematics, right? I'm Greek, I do mathematics since I was young. I like mathematics is nice. Mathematics is cool. You can solve problems with mathematics, right? So machine learning and deep learning, right? Precision AI is one of the terms we have come up using our data to come with precision decisions, precise decisions on threats, right? And why this is important. I'm a threat intel guy. I told you instant response systems. It's good when you have a malware to know every little activity, every IOC of that malware, if it has been seen before as malware benign or grayware, right? And I'm borrowing one of our threat intelligence tools. It doesn't exist now, so I can talk about it. I loved it, right? So it can give you that detail, so you can make a decision, right? That's based on data, right? You need data. I urge, if you don't know about machine learning or deep learning, please Google, how can I find a URL, a malicious URL through machine learning? 100%, no exception, you'll find examples that contain a data set. There is the machine learning, the mathematics of machine learning and deep learning are used only in statistics. Trigonometry is used in architecture. Algebra, right, is used in other functions in our life. But those mathematics specifically are used in statistics, right? So please, you can go and test that, right? 100%, there is no statistics, machine learning, deep learning models without data. It doesn't exist, right? So the data is what makes good AI, right? As we call it. Another source of information for that will be Google Developer, right? It's open out there, so you can go and check it. I didn't point you to any Palo Alto. I'm pointing you to things that you can see out there that are real from other people that do DL and ML. I learned a lot about that because I used to work in a high-frequency trading company. A lot of people go, oh, DL is new. No, DL is not new. Traders and mathematical people do machine learning and deep learning 30 years ago to predict stock prices. How do they do that? Because they have the data, right? You can take past data in trading and come up with the result. This has been going on for 30 years, something like that, right? Just an idea here. I explained it, machine learning, it's a combination of those two that we apply in traffic and data to come up with results of what is malicious and what is not, all under one unified management, right? Our Strata Security Cloud platform. That's all I have.